situation that just I wonder how they get this.
Yeah, it was like she said we have to dispute it as like they weren't instructed to take, like, you know what I'm saying, they cast a check without following the instructions, you know what I'm saying, something like that.
Hey, you did it on your card?
No, it was an ACH.
Oh,
if it was on my card, I think it would have been easier.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's gonna be a toughie.
Yeah, I know, because it was like a check, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's gonna be a toughie.
Yeah, I was wishing that thing was card after she said that. I was like, dang it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a toughie. What bank is it?
Nevada State.
Yeah, that's a small bank.
Bro, and the rest I've been stashing it.
I don't blame you. Test. You on?
Yeah, but it's got one bar though. It's about to die actually.
About to die. Let me check mine. No, mine is good.
I was getting Bob reading that thing yesterday, boy, when they said that. I was like, boy, I'm like, this stuff don't scare y'all before you read this thing? And that mom was like, man, I didn't
Nah, what you reading, they ain't never touched that.
I'm like, wow.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't never even came across that.
Ezekiel, oh yeah, Ezekiel serious.
Boy, he don't play that. He like everybody up.
Yeah, let me tell you, they go their whole life ain't never touched what you read. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Bro, we feel like Ezekiel? What's that?
Ezekiel for real, like that's serious.
They ain't never touched that.
Man, boy.
You don't, man. That's the thing, man. This book, man, it got everything. It line you up with the real stuff, don't it?
Yeah, 'cause you be a scout. You like, oh,
Yeah, it's real. It's the real stuff.
oh, yeah, that's right.
These people be shook off of silly stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, you see how Afghanistan got loose as soon as we left, bro. Them boys was like, oh, they gone? Yeah, we need all that back.
I was talking to
That ain't crazy.
They make a fool out of these people.
This girl, bro, and he was talking about like her brother's like he might be in like that. I was like Hebrew Israelites. He's like, yeah, and then she just told me like she was like, yeah, but they don't believe in the New Testament. I said, but he be talking about this like marking the beast. I said, well, yeah, that's in the New Testament. So
These boys don't know what they talking about. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I'm gonna look for that because I've probably seen that. I just haven't made that connection yet. But you're right. It's probably a lot of these boys out here talking about Old Testament only. Talking about the mark of the beast. Why don't you shut your darn mouth? These boys don't make no darn sense. That's hilarious. I'm gonna look for that one now.
bro, I was like, what?
Oh, that's funny.
They be tripping. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I said, well, that's okay.
Bro, look, them boys got right, like give us our land back. You know what I'm saying? Them boys wasn't playing, like ASAP, bro. Like soon as they left, it was like, oh yeah, this time, yeah, we gotta get it now.
Cool thing is, you don't know what to believe, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't know what to believe. It's so many, you know what I'm saying?
A whole bunch of lies on there, boy.
It's so many lies out
How
there.
y'all be?
So many competing interests. You know what I'm saying? We out there all that time. Who told us to get up out of there last year? Trump. Right? He's like, no, I'm getting y'all out of here. Some Biden came, kind of resisted it, got some pressure on both sides, so he ended up sticking with it with a different timeline, but he ended up sticking with it. he get us out of there, and as soon as he get us out of there, chaos. They got Afghanistanis hanging off the back of airplanes. You know what I'm saying? Like the airplane taking off on the runway. They hanging onto the wheels as they trying to go up. Like crazy stuff. It's a whole bunch of them, just crazy stuff. It's like, what in the world is going on here? You know what I'm saying? So on one hand, it's like, oh, this is a legitimate, you know what I'm saying? Like these people really need our help. You know what I'm saying? And for whatever we did for these 20 years, it didn't get the job done, I guess. And it could be undone in the matter of days. Whatever we did was undone in a matter of days. So what the heck is going on over there? Like, what's happening? Then you look at the other hand, it's like, well, that's just them. That's their land. That's them people. That's how they want to run it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is. We over there trying to make it run the way we want it to run.
Yep.
But maybe that's just not how it's supposed to run when we're not there. Then on the other hand, you've always had reports of what's called poppy fields. You know what I'm saying? From which heroin is made. From which opioids and a lot of these other, you know what I'm saying, pharmaceuticals is made. You know what I'm saying? And you got many reports saying that people go over there and you got U.S. soldiers with the U.S. soldier patch guarding those fields. So it's like, what is this really about? What's really going on, right? You just don't know. You don't know if you don't know if it's one hand of our government and the CIA that's saying, nah, we don't want you to leave. And if you try to leave, we're going to help them make pandemonium out here. Because in reality, you got a report saying that Biden, because there's still U.S. citizens out there, Biden is negotiating with the Taliban to make sure that they get out safely. So these unruly people that just jump up and wild out, y'all having talks. So not too unruly. They making deals. You know what I'm saying? No, we'll get them out. We'll get them on the next thing smoking. Don't worry about it. They'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I tell you what, in exchange, this is what I want. Right? It's just like ISIS. ISIS was the biggest thing for Obama. Trump came in and stomped them boys right on out. It's like, now, is Trump that much smarter than Obama? Or is there something else at play? You know what I'm saying? There's some negotiating going on behind the scenes that maybe Trump wasn't willing to do. And it was like, well, no, it was just, this is done. You know what I'm saying? I'm not interested in what you can offer me. This is done. You know what I'm saying? You could have the oil. I don't care. You know what I mean? These are the things that make it where you can't, you know, unfortunately, you just can't trust. You can't trust what's being put out in front of us because it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And we're at a point where the average person has been trained to be okay when stuff doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I just see it constantly. It's like things do not add up, but we're trained to just be like, Or if we feel like that doesn't add up, we're afraid to speak up. Because that person's an expert and I don't want to look stupid. No, none of these people are experts. None of these people are experts. Like, who's the expert? Bill Gates? They got Bill Gates out here talking about vaccines. Who is Bill Gates? Like, you're a computer developer. And barely even that. You know what I mean? Like, you came out with an amazingly great software for a computer, an operating system for a computer, a mini subset of products for a computer. When did you become the healthcare? You didn't graduate college for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, when did you become the healthcare, you know what I'm saying, guy? Like, especially when you got, like, open investigations and stuff on you killing people in India, you know what I'm saying? And from your vaccines. Like, when are you the guy? You know what I'm saying? They got the guy Fauci, you know what I'm saying? They bring him up to Congress and you know what I'm saying, Rand Paul get at him, and I don't know the details, but Rand Paul says that he lied to Congress. Fauci insists that what he said is not a lie.
They're the one who was yelling at Rand Paul like, you know what?
Yeah, and Rand Paul, he insists that Rand Paul don't know what he's talking about. Who am I supposed to believe? All I know is Fauci came out saying, mask, this is legit. I know the Republicans say it. I get it. But just because the Republicans say something don't mean it's a lie. Right? It's legit that Fauci said it's useless to wear masks. He said that first. It may make you feel good, but it's not really going to protect you. That's what he said. I didn't say that. Republican didn't say that. Democrat didn't say that. Us looking to our leaders, he is our leader. We accepted him at first. The man said, that's the truth, right? We believe him. Then he come back later and be like, no, everybody need a mask. Then he come back. I only said that because I wanted to make sure that the healthcare providers got the mask because there was a mask shortage at the time. So you telling me you will lie to me just because you think it's appropriate? How can I trust that? How can I trust that your judgment is so good that you're willing to tell a lie and I should trust you even in your lie? That's not how I'm built. You just tell me the truth. Listen, we all need masks, but we got to let the help. Just tell me the truth. Especially if you want me to believe you down the line. So now when Rand Paul called you a liar, this is not Philip being a Republican. When he called you a liar, my mind instantly goes to, well, you did lie, and you admitted that you lied and tried to justify the lie. So what are you justifying now? It's a problem. You look at this whole ordeal. It's a problem. Vaccine, our common knowledge of vaccine. What does a vaccine do?
Keep you from getting sick.
It keeps you from getting sick, right? That's just what we know of a vaccine. Right before the vaccine came out, what they say to us? They said, well, listen, guys. Now,
Herd immunity.
it's not that you won't get sick. You know what I'm saying? It'll just keep you from spreading the sickness. You might catch it, but it'll be a lot less dangerous, and it'll keep you from spreading it. If you get the vaccine, we'll get herd immunity sooner. Right? We trusted them. We said, okay, gonna get the vaccine. So we already know, we thought vaccine meant you're immunized. In other words, immune. Okay, so this is not an immunization. This is a vaccine, whatever that means, fine. So I can get, but I'm not gonna spread it. It's gonna stop the spread. Because we don't want, remember the old people are the ones, remember they tell us that? The old people are the ones we protect. It's not about you. It's about the old folks. So you say, you know what? My grandmother is old. It don't make no sense for me to be walking around putting her in danger. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got. Vaccine come. You know what I'm saying? They tell you, look, they tell you, just get it once. Johnson & Johnson. You know what I'm saying? That's his selling point. Just one time. You know what I'm saying? In and out. You know what I'm saying? Johnson & Johnson. You know what I'm talking about? Meanwhile, our babies getting darn rashes from their powder. You know what I'm talking about? I'm supposed to trust these people. I'm supposed to just be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Johnson & Johnson, that's just out. Right? Then you got Pfizer. We gonna double you up. You know what I'm talking about? Another one in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about it. Then you got Moderna. You know what I'm saying? The same thing. You gonna double them up too. They smart. They were looking at that food in Johnson. Then they dog. Truth be told, they dog Johnson & Johnson too. You know what I'm talking about? Put all type of bad publicity on Johnson & Johnson. Had everybody thinking Johnson & Johnson's the problem, which they are. Right? But had everybody thinking you get blood clots if you get Johnson & Johnson. Not meanwhile, all of them giving you the same thing. But they blame it on Johnson & Johnson. Okay, cool. So Pfizer, Moderna, people get these shots. And people start dying from the shots. You know what they tell us? It's a very, very, very small percentage of people that's dying. That happens with all vaccines. I'm like, all right, good point. However, it's a very, very, very small percentage of people that die from COVID too. And that happens with all sicknesses. So it's like what you're asking me, I don't have a problem with people who say they want to get the vaccine. You'll never, if somebody tell me they're going to get the vaccine, you never going to see me say, you stupid. Right. You putting everybody in danger, this, that, and other. That's not what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say, all right, not me. And the reason I say all right, not me, is because I'm measuring risk. It has to make sense. I'm measuring risk. I say, okay, if I get the disease, the likelihood, first of all, the likelihood of me getting the disease is very low, right? And then even if I get the disease, the likelihood of me dying from it is even lower with my age group and everything else, right? I mean, I have a 99% chance, over 99% chance of just making it through that thing clean, right? And then once I get it and make it clean, I don't need a vaccine because my body has fought it off naturally. And that is what the vaccine was supposed to do. It was supposed to make it so your body does not get sick from the vaccine. Well, if I get it, my body won't get sick because I already got sick. Herd immunity. If we all get it or get the vaccine, herd immunity, right? That makes sense. Okay. I don't get it. Other people do. I know people that die from it. Unfortunate. I know some people that die from COVID too. Unfortunate. Right? You have to measure your risk. Okay, good. Then people start getting the disease with the vaccine. This is a problem. Because they weren't supposed to get very sick. However, hospitals are filling up with people who have the vaccine. News article after news article. Wait a minute. You told me this wouldn't happen. First of all, how can you even measure that? The vaccine, this is Dr. Fauci. The vaccine is not meant to keep you from getting the infection. Instead, it's going to make it so that the infection is much less severe. How do you measure that? Much less severe.
Right.
I cough 2 times instead of 17? Like what? Like who's measuring that for us to say what Fauci said is true or not? It sounds like, let me tell you what we do like at my company. You know what I'm saying? If you just kind of want to get something off real quick, you say something that people can't check. You know what I'm saying? You kind of just put something out there like, oh yeah, so what we're going to do is we're just going to make the customers a little bit happier. We just want to improve their experience. How do you measure that? Only way to do it is through a survey. How long does it take to stand up a survey? Takes a while. So you know what? I'm going to say that and buy myself some time. Right? So that's what it felt to me when he's saying, I'm like, well, you can't measure that. However, after some time, you can measure it. People going into the hospital. That tells me that what you said is either not true or you were mistaken in what you said. Fine, we're here. People are dying with the vaccine. People are getting the vaccine. All of that is okay because that's part of the risk that we take, right? Every individual got to say, okay, listen, this is the risk. All is okay. I'm not saying that Fauci or anybody is necessarily wrong for that part. They taking risks, we taking risks, everybody taking risks, right? I just want you to be honest with people about what's going on. But aside from that, whatever, everybody taking risks. Here's my problem. When y'all convince these people to look at me and look at my family and look at our people as if we crazy for not getting the vaccine. You mean to tell me it's a Delta virus going on, right? Let me just make sure I understand what's going on, right? You got the vaccine. There's a Delta virus, right? You can catch the Delta virus even though you got the vaccine. But your answer to me is, I got to get the vaccine. They say right now, the old COVID ain't even around no more. They say 90% of what's out here is the Delta, in which even if you have the vaccine, you can catch it. And you know whose fault it is that it's here? Apparently the people that didn't get vaccinated caused the Delta to come about. Although, if we're looking at it, Trump was here, Trump fast streamed the vaccine. The numbers went all the way up according to them throughout the spring and the summer, right? Came down in the fall a little bit, came down in the winter a little bit, and then Biden comes in, the numbers go all the way up again, and that's when we have the most vaccinations, right? So we got the most vaccinations that we've ever. We started off with no vaccination, number was up. We start getting vaccinations. You would think that the number should go down because it's vaccinated. But hold on, you got vaccinations, and what happens right after we get a bunch of vaccinations? Delta virus, and the numbers all the way up. Somehow, though, it's the people who didn't get vaccinated that caused this. I'm not sure how that works. However, that is the story. So to solve this problem, even though you vaccinated can get the disease, and me unvaccinated can apparently get the disease too, the answer is to get the vaccine that you got, even though you can still get the disease. And when you look at me, after I say I don't want it, and that doesn't make sense to me, somehow I'm the enemy of the state. It doesn't make sense. No one can explain it to you. No one's going to even attempt to explain it to you. They're just going to shun you and try to make you look stupid. Because it's no longer about science like they say it is. It's not science. This stuff is just about do what we have to do to make people feel safe. And there's people at the top that's making a lot of money off of that stupidity. At some point, we just got to ask the question, what makes sense? All right? Then you got a lot of people taking a stand like, man, I ain't getting this vaccine. Why? Why they ain't getting the vaccine?
Because it don't work.
Because it's the mark of the darn beast. That's what they say. They don't tell you, look, they don't tell you, now it's the mark of the darn beast. You get that vaccine, man, that's it. That's it. It's the mark of the darn beast. I'm looking at them like, they all over Facebook. I see it every day.
I'm like, bro.
This might be, it's the mark of the beast.
How
This,
would
that,
so
and other.
many people like advocate for this thing? I ain't even really seen too many people say they're anti-vaccine.
I seen a bunch of people online on Facebook, because, you know, I follow the people that think they're religious. You know what I'm saying? So you got a bunch of people on Facebook that's mark of the beast. I need to start reading Revelations, mark of the beast. This, that, and other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't read Revelations, so-and-so, this, that, and other. Here it is. Y'all get that vaccine. Y'all better be careful. Meanwhile, it's great. Read Revelation, you know what I'm saying? Get into the book. But let me help you out. You was marked by the beast way before the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Like your butt, every time your butt lie, cuss, sin, or you just marking yourself with the beast. These people go, you gonna make a vaccine the mark of the beast before you turn from sin. You think that's what's gonna do it for you? Let me tell you, you think the vaccine is what's going to put you in hell. Meanwhile, the whole book telling you, you know what I'm saying, if you don't turn away from these things, your butt going right to darn hell. You don't care nothing about that. It's crazy. Listen, I'm not about to sit here and get on these vaccine people. These people are going to get this vaccine and walk right into the kingdom. They going to walk right, they going to walk they sick butt right to they going to get the vaccine, God forbid. Some of these people going to get the vaccine, die from it, and go right to the darn kingdom. Meanwhile, your butt going to live. You ain't going to touch no vaccine. Your coffee butt going to have COVID, limping around with the darn cane. I bet you I ain't get that vaccine, though. End up right in darn hell. What are we doing? At the end of the day, it's about what the book says. You don't have no book that tell you that this vaccine is the mark of the beast. Mark of the beast is we're going to talk about it soon, eventually, all right? We're going to get to Revelation soon, right? We got a little bit to cover more in the New Testament, but we're going to get to Revelation soon. And when we do, we're going to talk about what the mark of the beast is.
It might not be so obvious, though.
Huh?
It might not be so obvious, though.
What, the mark of the beast? Let me tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be what the word say. Period. At the end of the day, it's going to be what the word says. And you have to understand what the word is there for. The word is not there for you to predict the future. That's where people are used. This is going to be the mark of the beast, this, that, no. That's not what it's there for. The word is there so that you can identify. Let me tell you something. You ain't going, nobody is going to know that I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it like this. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody knew what the mark of the beast was until everybody already had it. So if you think about it that way, do you really think knowing what the mark of the beast is and avoiding it is the way to avoid it? Or obeying the word of God is the way to avoid it? You think the Most High God, Yeah, come on down to Bible study, open up the book, read it, and he's just gonna snap your butt with it. You doing everything you're supposed to do. You stop sinning, you reading your book, you gathering with the people, you keeping the days, you stop eating pork with your fat butt, you start doing all that stuff, and the Most High God just gonna smack you with the mark of the beast. That don't make no sense. You know what do make sense? You sinning, hypocriting, doing whatever you want to do, pretending, acting like, oh man, I love me some God. Turning around, you know what I'm saying, fornicating, cheating, doing all this extra stuff. Guess what? You got a mark coming.
The book say that the mission of the kingdom is given to the disciples, so what we worrying about long as we obey them?
Ezekiel chapter 9. Let's just check it out real quick. I just want to see how it, because I mean the book talk about marks. It ain't like listen, whenever we read something in Revelations, it's not as though, you know what I'm saying, Revelation is the first thing. Revelation is just a compilation album. That's all I did. Revelation just telling you, okay, this happened many times throughout our history. Let me show you how it's going to happen again. Right? Revelation just references you back to when it happened with the prophets, to when it happened with the fathers. This is Ezekiel chapter 9. Let's just see how the mark worked the first time it happened, and let's see if it's going to work the same way.
He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that here have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand.
With his what?
Destroying weapon in his hand.
He got to have his destroying weapon in his hand. Zahar. Boy. Baby, bring me some water. What did you say?
She said she's not here.
Bring me some water. But, watch this. He said, bring your destroying weapon. Watch what he do with it.
And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lies toward the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand.
Oh, goodness gracious. Everybody got a slaughter weapon. Watch this.
And one man among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side.
That's right.
And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar.
Uh-huh.
And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house.
Yep.
And he called to the man clothed with linen.
He said he called to the man that was clothed with linen. Watch this.
Which had the writer's inkhorn by his side.
And he had the writer's inkhorn. He had, you know what I'm saying, he had a nice big pen on his side. Watch this.
And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for.
Where the mark of the beast supposed to be?
The hand of the forehead.
The hand and the forehead, for those people who read Revelations already, it's going to be the hand and the forehead where there will be a mark. Now, it's very possible the hand and forehead could be spiritual. It could represent things that you think and things that you do. There's a lot of theories about that, right? Very possible it's not a physical thing where you got this chip that's put, you know what I'm saying? That's what they think. That's the other thing. The RFD, you know, you put the chip, they're going to put a chip in you and all this stuff. Oh, my goodness gracious. When it happens, we'll know. Right? When it happens, we'll know. But I guarantee you, not because I guarantee you, but because I serve a just God, I guarantee you, if you obey the word of God and you do what the man says, you have zero to worry about. You are just going to be in a position to be like, oh, dang, that was the mark? I wasn't even faced with that decision. I didn't even have to come across that decision. Because I stood far. They exiled me way before they start giving out that thing. You know what I'm saying? They knew that thing wasn't going to work on my butt. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine just righteous people, right? People that just obey the word of God, do what they're supposed to do. How that's going to make the rest of the world feel? I mean, let's just look at, right now you don't have that, right? That's the reason why people can't imagine it, because we assume that some of these hypocrites that's in these churches are actual, you know what I'm saying, righteous people. Right now, you don't have large communities of righteous people. You can't find it. Right now, outside of our group, you know what I'm saying, a couple people scattered, I couldn't find a group of righteous people. I couldn't find like a group that I can vouch for and be like, no, they be keeping the word of God. I can't do it. Right? So imagine if we could. Imagine if all of Atlanta. Imagine it was a whole city in Ohio just full of righteous people. And the world knew it. Right? And then they try to come out with some initiative. I appreciate you, boy. They try to come out with some initiative, right? Some initiative that say, you know what? We need to get people to buy into this system. but there's unrighteousness in the system, right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know what I'm saying, as part of this system, you know what I'm saying, like you gotta support gay marriage. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta rock with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is part of the system. What do you think the righteous folks gonna do? Oh no, you know what I'm saying? I can't be a part of that system. Right? They gonna get rid of us well before. I ain't saying this how it's gonna play out. I'm just saying, imagine this as a righteous person, how easily, just by remaining righteous and not compromising, that you gonna go through all other types of hardships. But imagine how these people will move you out of the way well before they start tricking these other folks. Because they know they can't even get the first part past your butt. They can't even get you to sign off on you know what I'm saying, on what they call pedophiliality or whatever it is. Pedophilia. You know they used to do that stuff back in, you know what I'm saying, Rome and Greece. That stuff was okay. That was a societal thing. And there were groups of people that didn't stand for it. Guess what happened to them? They got their butts out of there. Because that's part of the culture. You have to understand, first of all, you have to trust God. You have to trust God that if you do what the man say, you're going to be all right. We so busy trying to, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Okay, that's cool. But there's some stuff that he already told you and it's happening now. It's already happened in your life specifically. Like, let's not look at nobody else. You. You know what I'm saying? You as an individual, he told you was going to sin and you did. Now, what you going to do about that part? Let's worry about mark of the beast and all that stuff after, like, you get your life together as an individual and then as a family. At some point, it has to start making sense. We can't just keep doing stuff and rolling with stuff just because. Every time somebody fart in darn Afghanistan or somewhere in the Middle East, the end of the world is coming. It's the end of the world, it's the end of the world. I'm cool with that, but what does that mean for you as an individual? Does that mean you're going to live right? Does that mean you're going to start reading the book? Does that mean you're going to obey it eventually? What does it mean for you? Does it mean that you could just get on Facebook and try to make it seem like you ahead of the game? You're not. You might fool some people. You're not. You're not ahead of it. You're in the same spot, maybe worse. We look at these things and it's important for us to understand that it has to make sense for us. It has to make sense. Everything has to line up. And when I say make sense and line up, I'm talking about the book. We can't just keep running around and just winging it. It's too late in the day for winging it. World is about the end. That's true. Right? World is about the end. My question is, are you prepared for that? Do you think you're prepared because you read Revelations? All right. I'm going to tell you what you might want to do is turn from sin. If you don't know what the sin is, just come talk to me. Right? I'll start you off. You know what I'm saying? Start off with Mark chapter 7. You know what I'm saying? Start about verse 20. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on down. All right? You get there, then maybe we can move on to Revelations. If you ain't got that, what are we doing? You're going to know all the Revelations, but you ain't going to know. I don't know it. I don't know what it means. I can't tell you I can't tell you how it's going to play out. When we go through Revelation, the only thing I can tell you, you know what I can tell you? This is what it's talking about. I'm not trying to predict no future of Revelation. That's crazy. Tell me, outside of the prophets that gave the word, when have you had anybody in the book try to predict the future off of God? Outside of the prophets, right? And the prophets wasn't even trying to predict the future. They just, look, this is what the Most High God told me. That's not what it's there for. Matter of fact, we got examples of after something happened, what we say in the book. This is according to the prophecy that Isaiah said. It's after it that we look at it and we get happy like, oh, the man said it too. He told us this how it's going to play out. What happened for the people that did try to predict the future?
You tell them this ain't for you to know, right? That's what God put in his own power.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no Messiah out of, you know what I'm saying? Ain't gonna be no Messiah out of Bethlehem. What y'all talking about? Wrong again.
Yeah.
Wrong and darn again. Not Bethlehem, out of
Galilee.
Galilee. Yeah, wrong again. You didn't know the prophecy well enough. Right? All we gotta do is sit back and relax. Obey the word. Roll with it when it comes. After that, it'll all line up. Everybody be all right if you obey God. Let's finish this out. Watch this. Mark is gonna be on your hand and on your forehead. Watch where he put this mark.
And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in my hearing, Go after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark. And begin at my sanctuary.
So he said, begin at the sanctuary. Put the mark on these folks. And when he told them to put the mark, which folks did he tell them to identify?
The ones that sigh and cry for all the abominations done in the city.
The people that was bothered by sin. That's who identified how you got the mark. The people who are identified by, I don't like this sin that's going on around here. So if that's how the first mark was given out, this is the righteous mark, right? This is how God marked the people that he gonna protect. And then later we have the mark of the beast where God marks the people he gonna punish. How might those people be identified? If it was identified by righteousness first, right? How might the sinners be identified? Maybe by unrighteousness. Like I said, I can't tell you how it's gonna play out. What I can tell you is what has happened before according to the word. That's all we do when we go through Revelation. We just looking at, listen, this is what it's referencing, this is what it's talking about. Y'all want to talk about mark of the beast? This is what it's references. This is what we talking about. This is the mark of the righteous here. Mark of the righteous was defined by righteousness, by a man that was bothered by unrighteousness. Right? I don't know. Mark of the beast might be the people that bothered by righteousness. It's a lot of those. A lot of people made uncomfortable when you righteous around them. Right? Man, just have this drink, man. You always, you know what I'm saying? Like, you always doing this, that, and the other. Oh, yeah, this, that, and the other. Or you just think you so holy. Okay. You know how I go. Somebody, you get scared about the mark of the beast, that ought to scare you. Ought to scare you that you're a sinner. Because me personally, I don't see nothing in the book that tell me that a righteous man gonna have the mark of the beast under any circumstance. I don't see nothing in the book that makes me believe that.
Right.
Now, if you're unrighteous, that ain't fair game.
You should be worried.
That's where you should be worried. That's where you should be worried. It just gotta make sense, man. It gotta make sense, man. We come from a people, we come from a strong people that got a legacy with the Most High God. We got to come to a point where we stand on that. That's why we did the video of the Jews in Africa, right? Because it's important for us to understand who we come from and where we come from. We don't get caught up in this mess and caught up in following all these other people and these Christian pastors telling, oh, Afghanistan, do you know that Afghanistan is where Satan lies and the Islamic, the caliphate is going to be rising out of there. And that, my friend, is the son of perdition, and he's going to come out. All these weird, like, what are you talking about? Just show me book that says anything that you're talking about. Yep. I'll take it if you show me book. But y'all just making us up. It's Afghanistan now. Last year it was Syria. The year before that, it was Israel. The year before that, okay, so anywhere they dropping bombs, that's what y'all talking about. If it's in the Middle East and a bomb is getting dropped, okay, got it. Got it. You know what I'm saying? Iran before that, you know what I'm saying? It's like all these different places. It's like, well, where's it going to be? Iraq. Oh, okay, well, you better off with those. At least they got some history in the book. All right, let's pick up the book. Give me Romans chapter 1. Let me see what the book say. Try to cover a little bit of book. Matter of fact, before we get Romans, let me get 1 Timothy chapter 1. 2 Timothy, chapter 1. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 1.
I need another pen.
It's 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 1.
Paul, an apostle of Yahushua the Messiah by the will of God, according to the promise of life, which is in the Messiah Yahushua.
Uh-huh.
To Timothy, my
Drop on down to verse 7.
You need raggedy pens. What's wrong with you?
That one don't work either?
Maybe. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
So what we scared for? Right? Well, I'm trying to figure out why we scared if we believe this stuff. Like, what's scaring us about any of this stuff, man? It doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. I can't sit here, vaccine ain't, look at vaccine, no vaccine. This stuff ain't dictating nothing with us. Serve the Most High God. I got that. Let's see, keep going.
Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, nor of me his prisoner, but be thou partaker of the afflictions of the gospel according to the power of God.
You know what he's talking about there? See, he is in a time where, they crushing your butt. You know what I'm saying? They knocking your butt out if you talking about, talking about that Messiah stuff. You know what I'm talking about? These Romans, they gonna come by and call you a Christian, because at that point, they called all these people Christians. You know what I'm saying? They called them that to kind of, it was derogatory. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm going to call you a Christian. They come around calling these folk Christians. And he like, man, don't be ashamed of that thing. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause when they come through and they get to call you that, you know what's coming. They going to persecute you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get treated a certain way. So he's saying, look, don't be ashamed of what we stand on. Don't be ashamed of the testimony of the Messiah. Because you come around and people acting tough when you start talking that stuff. Be like, man, shut up. Talking that stuff over here. You get to talking it. You might want to be like, man, I don't want no problems today. So you might just shut up. You know what I'm saying? Be quiet. Paul's like, nah, don't be ashamed of that stuff. These people come around giving you them problems. Don't be ashamed. Be like, nah, man, ride with me. Even ride with me. I'm in bonds right now. You know what I'm saying? That boy, I'm in jail right now for this stuff. What you talking about? Ride with me. You know what I'm saying? Say you my friend. You know what I mean? Got to ride with him. Keep going. Watch this.
Who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to his own purpose and grace, which was given us in the Messiah Yahushua before the world began. But is now made manifest by the appearing of our Savior Yahushua the Messiah, who has abolished death and has brought life and immortality to light through the gospel. Whereunto I am appointed a preacher and an apostle and a teacher of the Gentiles. For the which cause I also suffer these things. Nevertheless, I am not ashamed, for I know whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day.
Right? And that's what we're looking for. We know that we have committed good works unto the Most High God. That's who we serve. So we know that whatever's coming our way, he's able to preserve that against the day in the end. Right? Against the day of judgment. So if I die, if I just get shot randomly, if I fall sick, if anything happens, as long as what I've done up to that point has been committed to him, I know that however this thing ends, he's able to hold on to what I've done and say, you know what? This is what saves him in the end. Not because it's our works, but because we did what the Messiah told us to do. Period. Hold that, actually we good there. Jump on down, or jump over to Romans chapter 1. And give me verse like 9, I think.
You got another pen?
Let me look for one. It is Romans chapter 1, verse 9. Romans chapter 1, verse 9.
For God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers, making request if by any means now at length I might have a good prosperous journey by the will of God to come unto you. For I long to see you, that I may impart unto you some spiritual gift, to the end you may be established. That is, that I may be comforted together with you by the mutual faith, both of you and me. Now I would not have you ignorant, brethren, that oftentimes I proposed to come unto you, but was let hitherto, that I might have some fruit among you also, even as among other Gentiles. I am debtor both to the Greeks and to the barbarians, both to the wise and to the unwise. So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome also. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of the Messiah, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes.
All right, he said, I am not ashamed of the gospel of the Messiah, for it is the power of God for everyone who believes. We've talked about belief, right? We know that believe comes with what?
Obedience.
Comes with obedience, right? Those who believe means you have faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The evidence of things that you can't see is works, because James tells us, show me your faith without works, and I'll show you my faith by my works, which means works is the evidence of something that you can't see. Faith. You can't see faith. The evidence of it is works, right? So when he says, for those who believe, right, God is the rescue, the salvation, the deliverance for those who believe in the gospel of the Messiah, then he's saying, I'm not ashamed of this. There's going to be no mark of the beast for somebody who's going to be rescued and delivered. There's no fear. Ain't no reason to be ashamed then. We got to walk in it. And we can't let the only glory and only glory that we got is, oh, okay, well, so let me tell you what a lot of people do. A lot of people are ashamed of what the book say. They're ashamed to just pop up and be like, nah, man, you ain't supposed to, you know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be having sex, you ain't married. That sounds corny. Well, that's unrealistic. Nah, man, you shouldn't be getting drunk. What? That sounds corny. We smoking them tweeds, man. That sounds corny. None of that stuff is cool. You know what do sound cool, though? A vaccine might be the mark of the beast. Right? Now you kind of sound like, ooh, you know something. You know something, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, spooky. You know what I'm saying? They ain't corny no more. So that's when people jump out. Year after year, they don't say nothing about the book.
The whole year.
Right? Let an RFD chip come out. Let an article come out that, yeah, we, you know what I'm saying, to work here, you have to get a chip in your hand. Let that thing come out. You can see them all these Christians coming out, and non-Christians, right? You can see all these people. You got the Hebrew Israelites quoting Revelation. They don't even believe the New Testament. Trying to figure out how that thing works. But it sounds cool when you do that. Everybody want in on that one. That happens because we ashamed of the gospel. Not us. We up out there every day, I'm telling you, but no, just turn from sin. Turn from sin. You focusing on this stuff. No, it's the easy stuff. It's the easy stuff that's gonna get you in. You know what I'm saying? You trying to figure out you trying to figure out the trigonometry, you know what I'm saying, algebra. You know what I'm saying? That's cool too. But listen, it's the basic arithmetic that's gonna get you in there. You know what I'm saying? And you never gonna figure that out without the basic arithmetic. So you start wherever you want to start after you know that. Right? Give me Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 9. Give me verse 1. Watch what the book say. What? Here, Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 1.
Hear, O Israel, you are to pass over Jordan this day to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than yourself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, whom you know, and of whom you have heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak. Understand therefore this day that the Lord of God is he which goes over before you.
He what?
Which goes over before you.
That's right.
As a consuming fire, he shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face.
Who you think gonna be identified by the mark of the beast? I mean, listen. Only reason we should be worried because we don't know whose side we on. Don't you know he going before you? Don't you know he gonna bring these folks down? Let's see. Keep going.
As a consuming fire, and he shall destroy them, and shall bring them down before your face, so shall you drive them out and destroy them quickly, as the Lord has said unto you. Speak not thou in thine heart after the Lord your God has cast them out from before you, saying, for my righteousness the Lord has brought me into to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord does drive them out from before you. Not for your righteousness, or for the unrighteous, or for the uprightness of your heart, do you go and possess their land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord thy God does drive them out from before you, and that he may perform the word which the Lord sware unto your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
You want to know another way of saying exactly what the Most High God just said there? Not by your works. A lot of people look at this. A lot of people take that not by. I purposely didn't address the not by works part that we just read in Timothy. I purposely didn't address that because I know what people thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, he ain't gonna touch that. Not by works. You know how these Christians think. They love to hear not by works because they think they got something, right? In the law, right? In the law, which is all works according to the Christian. In the law, he just said not by your works. Same exact thing. He's telling you, I'm bringing you in here not because you're righteous, but because these folks are unrighteous. And in the same way, when we reach salvation, the opportunity didn't come to us because we were righteous. It came to us because we were unrighteous. Right? Because we were unrighteous, the Son died. Because we were unrighteous, he gives us an opportunity to obey him, to follow him into the promised land. Right? It's not because of our righteousness. At the end of the day, though, just like the Israelites had to do what he said to get in there, we're going to have to do what he said to get in there too. Don't change a thing. Because when the Israelites disobeyed, they stayed in that wilderness. Right? And they died there. And if the people today disobey, you won't make it into the kingdom. In fact, you will die here. And that'll be it. I lied. That'll be the beginning of the fire. What verse is up?
Verse 6.
Give me Ephesians chapter 2. We got to understand that we different, man. We come from a different legacy. You know what I'm saying? We got to lead about these Gentiles. It's Ephesians chapter 2. Give me verse 8. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. Watch what the book say.
For by grace are you saved through faith, and not of yourselves. It is the gift of God. Not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in the Messiah, Yahushua, unto good works, which God has before ordained that we should walk in them.
Right? So now let's read that one more time. Let me tell you where they stop. I'm going to tell you where they stop, and I'm going to tell you what they should be paying attention to. Give me verse 8 one more time.
For by grace are you saved through faith, and not of yourselves.
So you're saved by grace through faith. It's not of yourself. It ain't nothing. Listen, this is where the Christians get the staring and leaning over. They give you that lean with 1 point. It ain't nothing that you could do to make God love you any more or any less, because it's not of yourself. That's what the book just said, right? If you stop right here, they right. Let's see.
It is the gift of God.
Okay, it's a gift from God. You didn't earn it.
Not of works, lest any man should boast.
If you got it by your works, We don't even need Jesus. Ain't that what they say? Why you need Jesus? If you did it by your works, it's not by your works. Because you would be able to boast. If we stopped, they would be right. Let's see what it say next, though.
For we are his workmanship, created in the Messiah Yahushua unto good works.
For we are his work, it's not of our works. For we are his workmanship. In other words, the man worked, we display his work. It's not because of my work. I'm a representation of his work. Okay, so now let's stop there. Me being a representation of his work, does it represent God when I'm sinning?
No.
Let's see if I can find this. What we got there? Give me Romans chapter 9, verse. It's going to be a tricky one. Give me verse 12. Let me tell you something, though. Daniel, if I hit this one on the head, I'm back, baby. If I hit this one on the head, let me tell you something. Lord moving in here. You know what I'm talking about? Lord Spirit moving in here.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger.
Nah, that's not it. I'm looking for, what is he talking about? He's talking about Pharaoh and a vessel of destruction. 17?
Let me see. You start at 17.
17?
Yeah, 17.
So give me Romans chapter 9, verse 17. Watch what the book say. Then we got to go back to Ephesians, because we got to see what the Christians talking about.
For the scripture says unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore has he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will he hardens. You will say unto me, why does he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will? No, but O man, who are you that reply against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why have you made me this way?
I am his workmanship. So he's asking the question, shall the workmanship boast against the man who made it and say, why you make me like this? Well, these folks do it all the time, don't they? Right? Keep going, watch this.
Has not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Could not make one vessel unto honor and make another vessel unto dishonor. So I ask the question again. If I sin, do I represent God? Well, let's keep reading. He said, does not the potter have the power to make one vessel of honor and one vessel of dishonor? Let's talk about this, Paul.
What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction?
Listen, I put together this one of honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is a nice little thing. I like making these, so I do it quick. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, just quick. You know what I'm saying? Not that, put that thing together, boom. Right? But this other one, I spent all day on it. 2 weeks even. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get it right. The whole purpose of this one is to rip it apart. Just crack that thing. Cling! I spent 2 weeks making it though. Because I wanted, like, when I hit it, I want that thing to break up in just the right size pieces. And I know, you know what I'm saying, if I let it dry too quick, you know what I'm saying, it's going to break up in big pieces. So if I take my time, I just want a small piece. If I take my time, let it dry real slow, I smack that thing, it's going to break up in a real small piece, and that's what I'm looking for. Right? I might take all day on a piñata. How long your wife be taking on them pops?
Forever.
Just for what to happen?
Just to eat it.
Just to them thing. Right? Is the pop gonna look at her and be like, yo, why you make me like this? So let's go back. Ask the question again. If I sin, am I representing his workmanship? Absolutely you are. Right? Because he gonna destroy your butt. But what we reading in Ephesians, if we stop right there, could apply to anybody. Right? That's why you have to keep going. Because he's going to tell you the difference between a workmanship of honor and dishonor. Watch this. It's Ephesians chapter 2, verse, where we at, 8 or 9? Let's give me 8 again.
8.
Let's start where the Christians start.
For by grace are you saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship.
All right, so stop. At this point, it could be all Christian. We are his workmanship. Even a sinner could be the workmanship of God, because God created them. Nobody knows what purpose did he create. Did he create them to destroy them, or did he create them for honor, right? We don't know based off of what we read right now. All we know is it's not of my works. Matter of fact, I'm a display of God's workmanship. You know what I'm talking about? God made me. I'm showing that his work is good.
They love to say I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made,
Yes,
right? Sinner or not, that is true, right? Oh, but go to the next one. All right, keep reading.
For we are his workmanship, created in the Messiah Yahushua unto good works.
Now that changes things. Now we're talking about the vessels of honor. That's going to get all the sinners out of there. We were created. We are his workmanship. It's not of our works, because we're his workmanship, right? We are a display of his workmanship. Well, what kind of workmanship, Paul? Oh, the workmanship that's created for good works. That's a vessel of honor. Okay, so now we have to ask the Christians, when they're talking about, it ain't got nothing to do with anything you do. Well, I beg to differ. The man says you were created specifically to do good works. So yes, not of works. You are not saved by works. The opportunity of salvation did not come to you because of something you did. Do not think that when you go over here, that the Most High God is giving this land to you because of your righteousness. However, to get into the land, you better do everything I tell you to do. However, to reach the kingdom, you better obey every word of the Messiah. You created for good works. What do you think the man gonna do to you if you don't serve your purpose? You ain't heard the parable of the fig tree? Man walked up to the fig tree, and what happened?
No fruit shall ever grow from you again.
That thing was dry. No figs on it. Man wanted a darn fig. He looked at that thing and said, okay, ain't nothing gonna grow from you ever again. You know what they do to a tree that ain't got nothing growing from it?
Chop it down and throw it in the fire.
That thing become firewood. You play with God if you want to. Y'all keep on playing this little trickery with people if you want to. I ain't stupid. Listen, I challenge any Christian. Y'all got the email, y'all got the phone number. I challenge any Christian to give me your best Christian verse. And we ain't got to do it. We could do it privately. We could do it live, however you want to do it. I'm not arguing with nobody. Just give me your best Christian verse, and I just dare you to read the book with me after you give it to me. That's it. Because all I'm going to do is give you a little bit before and a little bit after, and I can't think of a Christian verse. And when I say Christian verse, I'm talking about the Hebrew verses that Christians use, you know what I'm saying, to propagate they filth, you know what I'm saying, the filth religion that they try to push, right? I can't think of one that don't explain a little bit before and a little bit. We ain't even got all this jumping around we be doing now. That's extra. We'll do that, but we don't have to. You know what I'm talking about? Just a little bit before. What you want? John 3:16? You know what I'm saying? What you want? John, you know what I'm saying? Just tell me what you want, and I'm just going to tell you how far we got to read before and after. I guarantee it's going to explain it, though. Not because I guarantee it, but because I know this book and the Most High God is right when he say it. Grab what was that, Ephesians?
Yeah.
Grab Deuteronomy chapter 10. Give me verse 12. Then after that, I want to get back to Romans. Here's Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12. Watch this.
And now, Israel, what does the Lord thy God require of you? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. To keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command you this day for your good. Behold, the heaven and the heavens of heavens is Yahuwah's. Your
The
God.
heaven and the heaven of heavens. Right? How many heavens is that?
3.
Minimum. 3. Minimum is 3. Right? Because you got the heaven, not what I could see. Then you got the heaven of heavens, which means it's at least more than one that heaven is over. Right? The heaven is what's above. Right? Then you got what's above the areas that are above. You know what I'm saying? So if it's more than one, that means it's above at least 2. That's covering at least 3 heavens. Could be more. Right? Remember, Paul referenced the 3rd heaven. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we know already. That's what we compare it to. You know what I'm saying? I give you 3 heavens. Let's see. That's important.
The earth also with all that is in it. Only the Lord had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is a God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regards not persons, nor takes reward. He does execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and love the stranger in giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall fear the Lord your God, him shall you serve, and to him shall you cleave, and swear by his name.
All right? So I tell you, you can't be out here being racist against these folks. All right? You can't be out here, listen. White folks did a lot to us, right? We captive in their land. And then you got these Mexicans that come over, right? They get caught at this border. We could be tempted to be like, get these Mexicans. I don't care nothing about these Mexicans, right? We can't hate the stranger. Now, we could definitely say, your silly butt don't got no business coming to the border knowing that they going to detain your butt, you know what I'm saying, and try to act like you a victim on the same level that we a victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just don't darn fly. However, if unrighteousness is done to anybody, we got to stand in there, right? Because what we're about is righteousness, period, right? So that goes for the Asian, you know, they said stop Asian hate, right? Stop Asian hate, you know what I'm saying? Just that. Now listen, we can point out the fact that these people are unrighteous, and the fact that when they say stop Asian hate, how many times did we hear them say stop all hate?
Never.
I mean, if we say Black Lives Matter, oh, that's all we hear is, well, all lives matter, brother. Right? Curiously, though, Stop Asian Hate went unchallenged. In fact, quickly got a bill passed, and then that thing went right on the way. Asians good. With us, man, we still fighting. You know what I'm saying? We still fighting. Now, we certainly can point out the hypocrisy in that. We certainly can say, you know what? Asians ain't your fault. You know what I'm saying? You do what you're supposed to do. We supposed to get that result too. Somehow we didn't. And we can also point out, well, goodness, Asians, I wish you would fight alongside us. Yeah, great results there. I wish you, it's our turn now, no? Okay. And we can point that out as well. But the fact that Asians are being attacked, even if on one-off occasions, right? It's wrong. It's wrong, right? It's wrong when it happens to us too. It'd be nice people stepped in the same way.
We say we got the same result.
Yeah, be nice. You know what I'm saying? Be all right.
That black hate thing been lasting for about 400 years.
Still kicking, too. Still kicking. Ain't slowed down a bit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't been a bill yet that's been
I
effective.
don't know. When they did that to Emmett Till, I don't think I ever saw stop black hate.
No.
Yeah, when that guy shot up that church full of black people, I don't think nobody ever said stop black hate.
Nope.
No.
Nope. It just keeps going. You know? So it's not meant for us to hate the stranger. Certainly criticize the stranger. Certainly correct the stranger. Because that's always been our job. Give me Romans chapter 2. That's always been our job, right? It's Romans chapter 2. Romans chapter 2, give me verse 1. Watch this. It's Romans chapter 2, verse 1. Watch what the book says.
Therefore you are inexcusable, O man, whosoever you are that judges. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemn thyself, for thou that judgest does the same things. But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth.
Oh, wait, hold on. Give me Romans chapter 1. That ain't what I want. What's the last verse? 32. So give me Romans chapter 1. Give me about verse 30.
Backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
That's not what I'm looking for either. Back up. Give me verse 25.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. For this cause God gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one towards another. Men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet.
Homosexuals, right? Keep going.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do the things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness.
Not convenient meaning not appropriate. Watch this.
Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
Keep going.
Therefore you are inexcusable, O man, whosoever you are that judges. For wherein you judge another, thou condemn yourself. For you that judge does the same thing. But we are sure that the judgment of God is according to truth against them which commit such things. And thinkst thou this, O man, that judge them which do such things and does the same, that you shall escape the judgment of God? Or despise you the riches of his goodness and forbearance and longsuffering, not knowing that the goodness of God leads thee to repentance? But after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasures up to yourself wrath against the day of wrath, and revelation of the righteous judgment of God, who will render to every man according to his deeds.
He'll render to every man according to what?
To his deeds.
It's going to be according to his work. So now we talk again about the vessel of destruction, the vessel of honor versus the vessel of destruction. Right? You can live in a way that's counter to what the Most High God commanded through the Messiah. Right? You can. And if you do, then you'll be rewarded according to your works. Because you're still God's workmanship, right? You just now become a vessel of dishonor. You're not created then for good works. You're created for evil works. And for those evil works, this is what happened. Watch this.
To them who by patient continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality,
honor,
eternal life.
Right? Eternal life. That's a vessel of honor. But watch this.
But to them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath.
And then how does it happen?
tribulation and anguish upon every soul of man that does evil, to the Jew first and also the Gentile.
To the Jew first and also to the Gentiles. So when we read Ezekiel chapter 9, he said, mark them and start where?
At my sanctuary.
Start at the sanctuary. It's important that we know who we are. Because that's where it's going to start. The good and the bad. It's going to come to the Jew first and then the Gentile. The mark of the beast, if it goes by this, will likely come to the Jew first and then the Gentile. Identified likely by those who are bothered by righteousness. Because we know the mark of righteousness came to those who were bothered by unrighteousness. Right? It's important for us to understand what the book is saying and understand our role within the book. Don't try to overthink it. Don't try to figure out. Don't try to move too fast. Stick with the basics. We put the videos out there with the basics, with the foundation, right, with the milk. Go watch them. Understand the basics. Understand what it's here for. Understand what the Most High God called us to do. Real quick before we get out of here. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Whatever verse I'm looking for. You know what verse I'm looking for, right? Mm-hmm. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Let's see what the book said.
Chapter 12.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm on like the last two verses, or maybe it's just the last verse. Was it verse 12, last verse? Is it 12, 12, 14? It's simple, isn't it?
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Listen, what's the conclusion of the whole matter?
Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
That's all he asking for. That's all the man is asking for. You ain't got to figure out revelations. You ain't got to figure out all the prophecy. You ain't got to figure out all the mysteries. That's good, and I'm not telling you not to. I'm just saying, let's take care of our duty. Our duty is keep the commandments. Specifically, commandments of the Messiah. Any questions?